If you do not have SQL Server on your computer, simply open a web browser, type download SQL Server into Google and click the first Microsoft link. You'll be taken to the SQL Server download page and will have the option between SQL 2012 or 2008. Choose the version you require and simply click download. In this page, you will be prompted to download either the 32-bit or 64-bit version of SQL Server. When installing SQL, make sure you choose SA or System Administrator Access and give a suitable password. It may be necessary to consult your system or SQL administrator before installing. When SQL has been installed, launch the Management tool or Management utility in order to browse the database. If SQL is installed on your computer, you may choose Windows Authentication or System Admin Authentication. Field Inspector requires two databases in order to function. One is the schema database, where all the metadata will be stored. The other is the inspections database. In the schema database, there are all sorts of tables named KEA. This is where the metadata is stored. In inspections, this is where we will create our forms. We have two tables, spatial and inspection. The form body is built in the inspection table, and all the positioning data is stored in the spatial table. It requires an ID in order to determine a relationship, and then all the required fields in your form. Same with the spatial table, an ID in order to determine the relationship, and X, Y, and Z fields in order to store the coordinates. You may also add a geometry field in order to store the lat long coordinates, which is advisable in this case. If you need help with this, be sure to ask your SQL administrator, or it may even be worth your while to attend a short SQL online course. For this tutorial, we've created a database in SQL called tutorial, and will now create two tables. One, of course, for the inspection, the other, of course, for our spatial data. In this tutorial, we will inspect fire hydrants or irrigation hydrants, and will require a field worker name, a city, information about the hydrant, also a photograph, and a signature. There will also be a date time field, which of course can be hidden within Field Inspector. I will save the table as hydrant inspection. We will create another table which contains the spatial data. We will require an ID, of course, to determine a relationship, and a geometry field which will contain all my geometry data.